I mean, his face is a mess. I mean, we've never seen Holloway this busted up before. This is not a close fight.
I just don't believe there's anyone on my level right now. I'm in my prime.
Oh my goodness, and now he's pouring it on. He just keeps getting better. That's the bottom line with Volkanovski.
I'm the best, no matter who's in front of me.
Alexander Volkanovski with a signature performance tonight.
He's just a step ahead, and tonight he's on another level.
New undisputed UFC Featherweight champion of the world, Alexander the Great Volkanovski.
Oh my God. Alexander Volkanovski had one of the craziest title fights I've ever seen in my life. It was wild.
What now, he says to the broadcast booth.
That's a good question.
If he could do that to one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen, who's next?
Yair Rodriguez is one of the wildest that's ever fought in MMA. Yair has some of the craziest kicks. He's got this Taekwondo background, but he does all this wild shit. He hit BJ Penn with a 360 roundhouse kick.
He's around that long.
He spins 380. Fuck me.
It's hard to read which one he's throwing, and that's what makes it.
Crippling body shot. Steven's in trouble.
They're going to stop this.
And himself, Yair Rodriguez, recover.
Not out yet.
3 rounds. We go to the judges' scorecards for decision. For the winner, Yair El Pantera Rodriguez.
Insane. It's one of the best fights I've ever seen. And the fact that Yair was off for 2 years, comes in and puts on a performance like this is unheard of. I mean, it's unheard of. It was incredible. And then
From the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, it's time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Championship of the World.
The UFC is back for International Fight Week and UFC 290, with a massive main event showdown in the very competitive featherweight division between Alex Volkanovski and Yair Rodriguez is a clash that embodies the essence of high-level mixed martial arts. Both fighters bring unique styles and impressive resumes, making this a must-see showdown. On one side of the octagon stands the champion, #1 pound for pound, Alex the Great Volkanovski.
Alex is the #1 in the featherweight division. This is just another fight. Yair comes with different challenges and different strengths. It's very hard to read. He just throws things off centre. Look, there is some holes in the game, but we hope to exploit them.
With an impeccable record and a reign as the featherweight champion, Volkanovski has proven himself as the best featherweight in UFC history. His relentless pressure, technical prowess, and well-rounded skill set have led him to impressive victories over the division's greatest former champions, Jose Aldo and Max Holloway. He's further dominated tough challenges, including recent battles with Brian Ortega and the Korean Zombie, in which he showcased his ability to adapt and overcome adversity.
Mate, I told you before this fight all week, I said I'm on another level right now. I can't be stopped, and I just showed you. He actually took a lot more than I wanted him to. I thought that they could have stopped a bit earlier. I started feeling bad in there, but that's the sport we're in.
He seeks to rebound from a tough decision loss against Islam Makhachev, in which most commentators think he did enough to win the fight to become champ of both the 145 and 155 pound divisions. His legacy is on the line as he seeks to solidify his position as the pound-for-pound best in the UFC.
They didn't give me a chance, but I gave myself a chance, and I was expecting to win. I knew he was really good. I just knew I prepared properly, but hey, it was a fun fight. Maybe I could have capitalised in some positions a bit more. Left it a little late, but hey, what do you do? Congrats to Islam.
Challenging Volkanovski is Yair Rodriguez, an electrifying fighter known for his unorthodox striking and dynamic arsenal of attacks. Rodriguez has demonstrated his versatility inside the cage with highlight reel knockouts and stunning displays of creativity. His victories against Jeremy Stephens and the Korean Zombie have elevated his status in the division. Rodriguez is the most unique striker in the UFC, and his ability to launch devastating strikes from weird angles, with his head kicks and other strikes posing a constant threat to his opponents. As he steps into the octagon against the champion, he aims to claim the featherweight title and etch his name in the history books.
Insane. It's one of the best fights I've ever seen. And the fact that Yair was off for 2 years, comes in and puts on a performance like this is unheard of. I mean, it's unheard of. It was incredible. And then
the clash between Volkanovski and Rodriguez presents a fascinating stylistic matchup. Volkanovski's relentless pressure, ground game, and volume striking heavy combinations will test Rodriguez's striking acumen and ability to defend takedowns. Rodriguez's unorthodox strikes and quick reflexes will challenge Volkanovski's defensive skills. Both fighters possess the skills and determination necessary to secure victory. Beyond this fight, the implications extend to the legacy and pound-for-pound rankings. A victory for Volkanovski would solidify his status as one of the division's greatest champions, while a win for Rodriguez would elevate him to new heights and open doors to future opportunities. Pound-for-pound rankings, which evaluate a fighter's skill regardless of weight class, could see significant changes depending on the outcome of this bout. As the anticipation builds for UFC 290, fight fans can expect a clash of styles, high-level techniques, and the relentless pursuit of victory. The legacy of both fighters hangs in the balance, and the implications of this bout will reverberate throughout the featherweight division and the sport. Get ready for a night of heart-pounding action as Volkanovski and Rodriguez step into the octagon, leaving it all on the line for the UFC 290 main event. Which fighter will bring that dog out and come out with the featherweight belt? Witnessing Volkanovski's evolution has been nothing short of incredible. When the Australian fighter made his debut, he relied heavily on his sheer physical prowess, overpowering opponents with ferocious strikes and relentless takedowns. However, around 2018, a shift occurred in his approach. Volkanovski started deliberately engaging in distance kickboxing battles, showcasing his adaptability and expanding his skill set.
Oh my God. Alexander Volkanovski had one of the craziest title fights I've ever seen in my life. It was wild.
Since then, he's elevated his game to another level, demonstrating a remarkable ability to excel in all aspects of fighting. Volkanovski's versatility is truly awe-inspiring. His repertoire includes striking, grappling, and game planning, making him a force to be reckoned with. He can seamlessly transition between different strategies and tailor his game plan to exploit his opponent's weaknesses. This combination of exceptional skills and meticulous preparation creates a formidable and unique fighter. However, Volkanovski is well aware of the challenges posed by Yair Rodriguez, whom he regards as a dangerous opponent.
He's a dangerous fighter. He's always looking for the finish, which is exciting. I think he's probably the most dangerous fighter in the division, which excites me as well. It's exciting for the crowd. You know he's going to bring it. You know he's going to be unpredictable. He's going to be looking for the finish. I can't wait to use that fight IQ and just systematically break him down.
One of Rodriguez's greatest strengths lies in his versatility, whether standing or on the ground. El Pantera has showcased his ability to finish fights in various ways. This multifaceted skill set makes him a legitimate threat to Volkanovski's reign as the UFC featherweight champion. Let's delve deeper into Volkanovski's skill set and how he plans to utilize it against his formidable opponent. Striking. With the help of City Kickboxing, Tiger Muay Thai, and his Australian team, Volkanovski has become one of the best strikers in the UFC. Throughout his career, Volkanovski has been known as a pressure fighter. However, when facing tougher opponents, he's adjusted his approach. Volkanovski is skilled at closing the distance with careful footwork and head movement, unlike many pressure fighters. He maintains his balance while moving forward, making it difficult for his opponents to land clean shots. A technique Volkanovski often employs is stepping through with his right hand, transitioning into a southpaw stance. This movement serves multiple purposes. One of his main intentions is to step deep with his right, generating significant punching power while looking for opportunities to initiate clinches or takedowns. When his opponent defends against or avoids the right hand, it allows Volkanovski to execute his takedown techniques. Against Darren Elkins, Volkanovski's punches were so powerful in this setup that Elkins was too occupied with falling to the ground to counter the takedowns effectively.
Oh, big right from Volkanovski. How is Elkins still throwing on the leads?
You know, man, I had to battle some challenges, man. I took over a bit. I didn't feel it too much, so I got lucky. But, man, I do. Honestly, he should have been fighting someone in the top 5 easily.
Another approach is for Volkanovski to step through with his right hand and throw a right hook, this time from a southpaw position. This closing of the distance increases his chances of catching his opponent circling into the punch. He also utilizes the southpaw shift right hook while on his back foot, stepping back and countering simultaneously. Volkanovski's clinch game serves as both defense and offense. By crashing into the clinch, he prevents opponents from landing clean encounters when there's limited space to work with. Additionally, Volkanovski excels at muscling his opponents with collar tie control, enabling him to land powerful knees and elbows. Volkanovski has effectively neutralized kickboxers in recent fights by utilizing kicks, jabs, and counterpunches. His distance kickboxing has played a significant role in his notable victories. As the shorter fighter, he understands the importance of fully utilizing his weapons from a distance. Volkanovski's first fight against Max Holloway showcased his mastery of distance fighting. Rather than pressuring aggressively, he focused on attacking Holloway's stance, dismantling his base, and building his offense. Every fighting style has its advantages and disadvantages, and one of the downsides of Holloway's boxing-oriented high-volume style is that it exposes his lead leg. Holloway needs to step forward to throw jabs and initiate his renowned combinations, and Volkanovski capitalized on this vulnerability. Sometimes it was as simple as timing an outside calf kick as Holloway stepped forward, throwing him off balance and allowing Volkanovski to evade extended exchanges. Other times, Volkanovski targeted the inner leg, disrupting Holloway's rhythm and creating openings for effective punching and clinching. As Holloway became more aggressive in response to the low kicks, Volkanovski set traps. One common trap was waiting for an opportunity to counter with an overhand punch, but he also landed his left hook as his right leg returned to stance. Overall, Volkanovski excels at slipping his head off the center line and throwing powerful overhand strikes, and this worked particularly well when he anticipated Holloway's attempts to counter the kicks.
Count leg kicks. They mean a lot. And here you see Volkanovski over and over again chopping at the legs of Max Holloway. Boom, again. I mean, this was a huge factor in this fight. Inside leg kick. And there's a left hand by Volkanovski.
In his fight against the taller and rangier opponent Ortega, who was coming off an impressive technical victory over Chan Sung Jung, Volkanovski faced a different challenge. There are generally two approaches to dealing with a long and lean striker: pressuring them and closing the distance, or giving ground, allowing the opponent to reach for you and then countering effectively. Against Ortega, Volkanovski effectively employed both pressure and counter strategies. He methodically walked Ortega down, using well-timed feints to set up powerful jabs and right hands. Despite Ortega's natural aggressiveness, he couldn't simply be backed down. Whenever Ortega stood his ground, Volkanovski swiftly stepped back, staying just out of range, struck with a jab overhand combination, or targeted his lead leg.
Yeah, man, I wanted to get the finish, and I've been talking about getting that finish, but at least it was a war. At least it was entertainment. Everyone enjoyed it. Obviously, while you're going through it, you're just worrying about what's happening. So straight after, I was like, fuck, didn't get the finish, you know what I mean? But then you come out and everyone's just absolutely buzzing. So as long as we put on a performance, I'm starting to really come into this whole entertainment business. I get it.
In his third bout with Holloway, Volkanovski showcased a true masterclass in utilizing the jab. While many fans focused on his perceived speed advantage, that speed can be attributed to his dominance in the jab battle. Time and time again, Volkanovski initiated with the jab, followed by mysterious head movement or pulling back, and then answered with heavier shots. Volkanovski frequently started and ended combinations with the jab, effectively shutting down Holloway's counterattack opportunities. Snapping Holloway's head back disrupted his ability to land effective counters. Additionally, the consistent use of jabs used to disguise occasional flurries increased the likelihood of Volkanovski landing significant strikes when he surged forward. Wrestling. Volkanovski's martial arts journey began in childhood, starting with Greco-Roman wrestling and later transitioning to rugby. Even after 2 decades, his foundation in Greco-Roman wrestling remains strong. When it comes to wrestling, Volkanovski excels along the fence. His proficiency in dirty boxing and strikes from the clinch allows him to seamlessly blend takedown attempts with his close-range offense. Utilizing the classic double-leg takedown against the cage, Volkanovski has often overwhelmed his opponents, taking advantage of their vulnerability while being subjected to his punishing attacks. A similar pattern emerged in his initial UFC fights, once Volkanovski managed to trap his opponents in his relentless assault. By pinning them against the cage, he'd unleash devastating knees or elbows, execute a double-leg takedown, and then unleash a barrage of ground strikes. If his opponents regained their feet, the cycle would immediately restart, leaving them no time to recover. This grinding approach mentally and physically wears down his opponents, breaking their spirit and resolve. Additionally, while engaging in the clinch, Volkanovski actively employs the outside trip, effectively tangling up his opponent's leg and bringing them down to the mat. If the trip fails, he swiftly transitions to throwing elbows and initiates another takedown attempt. This strategy carries a low risk for the champion, but a successful takedown can significantly impact the outcome of the fight. In the fight against Holloway, Volkanovski's attempts at the outside trip were unsuccessful. However, he successfully secured the body lock and twice pulled Holloway forward, timing the inside trip as Holloway tried to escape. By dropping his head and shifting his weight to the side of Holloway's trap leg, Volkanovski gained top control in this highly competitive bout. During the fight with Ortega, Volkanovski showcased his brutal ground striking abilities and arguably his most impressive moment in the UFC to date. Round 3 of Volk's fight with Ortega was one of the greatest rounds in UFC history. Ortega, a black belt in jiu-jitsu, countered Volkanovski and jumped into a full-mounted guillotine tightly locked in. Volk was trapped, blue in the face and throbbing, with everyone thinking he was about to go to sleep or tap, but he never flinched and escaped the submission miraculously. A few seconds later, Ortega put Volkanovski in a triangle choke. Again, he managed to just get out of the submission and ended the round with brutal ground and pound, with the referee Herb Dean almost stopping the fight between rounds. And many people thought the fight should have been stopped, and if not for Ortega's world-class toughness, it certainly would have been. In terms of defense, Volkanovski hasn't faced a significant challenge in a while. Although Chad Mendes possessed a formidable blast double-leg takedown, it could only briefly take Volkanovski off his feet on several occasions. Whenever Volkanovski found himself on the ground, he quickly initiated wall walking to get back up. Alternatively, he utilized an undertuck from the bottom half guard or side control to work his way up into a single leg position, which allowed him to either stand up or gain top control. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Volkanovski has secured 3 wins by submission, although his most recent one was back in 2016. Inside the octagon, he's made several attempts at the guillotine choke, particularly in his fight against Elkins. Credit goes to Volkanovski for his skillful attack on the neck. He managed to sink the high elbow choke deep and positioned himself well to apply pressure. Additionally, Elkins was barely conscious when the chokes were initiated. Against nearly anyone else, Volkanovski would have secured his first submission victory in the UFC. However, Elkins is known for his incredible toughness, especially when defending against guillotine chokes. Volkanovski's ability to defend submissions was tested in his fight against Ortega, who's widely regarded as one of the most dangerous submission threats in the division. On 3 occasions, Volkanovski found himself in peril, but he responded with correct and effective techniques. Let's break it down. The first threat was a mounted guillotine that Ortega swiftly caught after countering a kick. Ortega secured a high mount position and locked his hands around Volkanovski's neck, which was precarious. Volkanovski immediately focused on bringing Ortega lower on his body, pushing one hand in Ortega's hips while shrimping his lower body away. Simultaneously, he fought the choke with his other hand, maintaining blood flow and preventing Ortega from applying maximum pressure.
For now, Volkanovski is out.
But he can't get his choke.
But a minute 42 in there on the mat.
He's going back guillotine. Dark choke attempt here. Dark choke attempt by T-City. Oh my goodness.
He's out. Wow. What a rally.
By freeing himself from Ortega's leg wrap without losing consciousness, Volkanovski made the choke survivable. Next came the triangle choke, where Volkanovski found himself in a checkmate position against Ortega, also known as T-City. In a desperate move, Volkanovski rolled to his side but didn't completely give up the mount position. This forced Ortega to attempt to finish the choke from a more awkward angle between the guard and the mount. Volkanovski used his arms to create space as best he could. If this had been in the first round, Ortega likely would have finished him, but with some fatigue, blood and sweat, Volkanovski managed to free himself and unleash his striking. Finally, Volkanovski faced an anaconda choke from Ortega, as Ortega tried to gator roll underneath. Volkanovski again displayed smart tactics by getting Ortega stuck in a midweight position. Utilizing the fence to his advantage, Volkanovski prevented Ortega from tightening the choke or advancing his position by placing his back on Ortega's chest. Ortega couldn't free his head, thus preventing him from completing the choke by circling his body. Sometimes the key to avoiding submissions is simply preventing the situation from deteriorating further and exercising patience. Volkanovski demonstrated excellent defensive skills and composure in these challenging scenarios. In his most recent bout, Alexander Volkanovski faced off against Islam Makhachev. The fight took place in Volkanovski's home country, where he enjoyed tremendous support from the crowd. Both fighters showcased their exceptional skills and impressive rankings as the matchup unfolded. According to ESPN, Volkanovski entered the contest as the top-ranked pound-for-pound fighter in the world, demonstrating his prowess across multiple weight classes. Makachev entered the fight as the second-ranked fighter on the other side of the octagon. What made this matchup exceptional was that it brought together the two best fighters in the world, irrespective of weight class. It was a rare occurrence in MMA history to witness a showdown between the top-ranked fighters from different divisions, adding an extra layer of significance and anticipation to the fight. Despite being considered the underdog, Volkanovski defied expectations with an impressive performance. Throughout the fight, Volkanovski displayed exceptional skills, effectively neutralizing Makachev's renowned wrestling abilities. Surprisingly, it was in the striking department where Makachev succeeded, despite Volkanovski being perceived as the superior striker. Most commentators believed that Volkanovski won the fight against Islam Makhachev. Volkanovski dealt more damage and had a difficult time being taken down.
Volkanovski's back on the feet, getting the damage.
He also had Makhachev in trouble toward the end of the fight and came close to finishing him. But that defeat did leave a bitter taste in Volkanovski's mouth. Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez, hailing from Parral, Mexico, developed an early fascination with MMA while watching videos of legends like Fyodor Emelianenko and Anderson Silva alongside his brother and cousin. Despite his involvement in Taekwondo tournaments and training in various martial arts disciplines such as judo, boxing, and kickboxing, Rodriguez initially didn't envision becoming a fighter. However, when Rodriguez and his mother stumbled upon an MMA gym in downtown Parral when he was 17, his interest was piqued. Spending hours each day at the gym, he honed his skills and delved deeper into the techniques employed by his idols. As a featherweight fighter in the UFC with a record of 16 wins and 3 losses, Rodriguez distinguishes himself as an orthodox striker with a unique fusion of striking styles. He's renowned for his creativity in the octagon, constantly seeking innovative ways to land his strikes. He's nicknamed El Pantera, the Panther, for his ferocious and dynamic fighting style. His extensive repertoire includes a wide array of spinning kicks, overhead kicks, and elbows, showcasing his creativity and fearlessness in executing high-risk maneuvers. Despite his tenure in the UFC since 2014, many believe they've yet to witness the full extent of El Pantera's capabilities within the octagon. In a culture that reveres boxing, Rodriguez possesses a rich martial arts background contributing to his formidable presence in the octagon. Despite financial struggles since childhood and a scarcity of funds, even after joining the UFC, Rodriguez showcased his resilience and determination. In 2023, he achieved the interim UFC Featherweight Championship, solidifying his status as a top contender.
The new interim UFC Featherweight Champion of the world, Yair El Pantera
Rodriguez's MMA journey commenced on January 29, 2011 in Parral, Chihuahua, where he secured a victory via knockout in a mere 1 minute and 37 seconds. Roman Garcia of Mexican Fighters Promotion first recognized Rodriguez's talent and provided him with an opportunity. Although Rodriguez experienced his first career loss against Luis Roberto Herrera on December 12, 2012 at Mexican Fighter Promotions 13,
volado, se pierde y se van al 15, van para abajo. Ah, le pega. Lastimaron al Pantera, lastimaron. Se acabó. Fue todo. Caray.
he rebounded by claiming the Ultimate Fighter Latin America featherweight title in November 2014. This achievement paved the way for his entrance into the UFC, where he's established himself as a prominent figure. Rodriguez has triumphed in 10 fights throughout his UFC career while suffering 2 losses. Rodriguez dedicates 6 to 7 hours daily to his craft and his rigorous training regimen. Under the guidance of head coach Mike Valle, the first session begins at 8 a.m. This is followed by a second training session at 12 p.m., focusing on strength and conditioning and jiu-jitsu, with coaches Luis Claudio and Thiago Vieira. The day concludes with the third training session, commencing at 7 p.m. and lasting until 8 or 9 p.m. Yair Rodriguez's unique and dynamic fighting style sets him apart from many other fighters in the sport. His arsenal consists of a wide range of striking techniques combined with impressive athleticism and creativity. One of Rodriguez's standout attributes is his striking diversity. He is proficient in various disciplines, including Taekwondo, kickboxing, and traditional boxing. This allows him to incorporate a mix of flashy kicks, spinning attacks, and unorthodox strikes into his game plan. Rodriguez is known for his spinning back fists, wheel kicks, and flying knees, which can catch his opponents off guard and deliver devastating results. In addition to his striking repertoire, Rodriguez also displays excellent footwork and agility inside the octagon. He moves fluidly and swiftly, often circling his opponents and creating angles to unleash his strikes. His ability to quickly change directions and maintain distance gives him an advantage in dictating the fight's pace. Rodriguez's offensive output is relentless as he maintains a high volume of strikes throughout his bouts. He constantly looks for openings to land punches and kicks, keeping his opponents on the defensive. His speed, accuracy and timing allow him to connect with precise strikes, both at close range and from a distance. While Rodriguez excels in his striking game, he's also improved his grappling and ground skills. He's displayed effective takedown defense, utilizing his agility and balance to avoid being taken down. On the ground, he's demonstrated solid submission defense and the ability to scramble back to his feet quickly. It's worth noting that Rodriguez's fighting style is not without risks. His unorthodox techniques can leave him vulnerable to counterattacks if not executed properly. However, his willingness to take risks and his ability to surprise opponents with unexpected strikes make him an exciting fighter. Rodriguez debuted his UFC in the finals of the Ultimate Fighter Latin America tournament. On November 15, 2014, he faced off against Leonardo Morales for the championship title. In the opening round, Rodriguez successfully executed takedowns on Morales and made multiple submission attempts, including 2 armbar tries and a heel hook. The fight briefly paused when the referee intervened due to an alleged fence grab. Morales landed a left hand that caused some damage to Rodriguez. Ultimately, the judges awarded the victory to Rodriguez, declaring him the winner unanimously. After a string of impressive victories in the UFC, anticipation was high for Yair Rodriguez's next bout. The fight occurred on April 23, 2016. In a showdown that lasted 2 rounds, Yair Rodriguez emerged victorious. In the second round, Rodriguez delivered a lightning-fast head kick to Andre Fili, causing him to lose consciousness.
Yair's just so... Oh, round kick, he got him, it's it. Just like that, it is all over.
The referee swiftly intervened and stopped the fight. Rodriguez's remarkable performance earned him the win and a well-deserved $50,000 bonus. Following his impressive victory over Fili, Yair Rodriguez was allowed to headline a fight against Alex Caceres, scheduled by the UFC for August 6, 2016. The bout served as the night's main event and spanned 5 rounds. During the fight, Rodriguez showcased his effectiveness by utilizing unconventional striking techniques. While Caceres also had some noteworthy attacks, he couldn't match Rodriguez's output and impact. Building on his success, Rodriguez sought to further enhance his fighting skills by partnering with coach Luis Claudio, a jiu-jitsu expert, and Connor Beebe, a wrestling coach. In his next fight, Rodriguez again found himself in the main event against the renowned The Prodigy BJ Penn. The match was broadcasted on Fox, coinciding with the NFC Divisional Round Playoffs on January 15, 2017. As anticipated, Rodriguez easily dispatched Penn, securing a second-round knockout victory.
Yes. Round 2 here. Down goes Penn. Rodriguez going in for the finish. Big punches. Look at that. Look at him. Rodriguez lands. There you go. That is it. El Pantera Yair.
After defeating former multiple division champion BJ Penn, Yair faced a hard test against Frankie Edgar. Edgar had a record for not losing a single non-title fight in the UFC for the past 9 years. These two fought at UFC 211 on May 13, 2017. Edgar dominated the fight against Rodriguez by taking him down and hitting him with punches and elbows from inside his guard. Rodriguez's left eye was badly swollen and closed completely by the end of the second round. The referee and doctors stopped the fight, giving Edgar a TKO victory over Rodriguez.
At the end of round number 2, on the doctor's advice, referee Chris Reed has called an end to this contest, declaring the winner, Frankie the Answer.
Following his first defeat in the UFC, Rodriguez endured a lengthy 18-month hiatus before returning to the octagon. During this period, he encountered difficulties with the UFC and declined to participate in UFC 227. Consequently, he was released from the promotion after refusing to compete in August. However, he later agreed to face Zabit Magomedsharipov, only to suffer an injury preventing the fight. Amidst numerous rumors, a highly anticipated matchup between Yair Rodriguez and Korean zombie Chan Sung-jung was scheduled as the main event for UFC Fight Night in Denver, Colorado, USA on November 10, 2018. The Korean zombie had won 4 of his last 5 fights at that time, making it an enticing showdown. As the date arrived, the crowd erupted with excitement as Rodriguez and Jung entered the ring, their intense gaze fixed upon each other. Rodriguez wasted no time, striking first with a straight punch connected with Jung's face, causing him to stagger backward. However, Jung swiftly regained his composure and launched a relentless barrage of punches at Rodriguez, who showcased his expert dodging and weaving skills while countering with powerful kicks to Jung's legs. The resounding impact of their strikes reverberated throughout the arena, showcasing their unwavering determination. In the second round, Jung gained the upper hand by delivering a forceful kick to Rodriguez's side and slamming him against the wall. The referee intervened, briefly separating the fighters to provide them a momentary respite before the fight resumed. Undeterred, Rodriguez and Jung continued their fierce battle in the third and fourth rounds, each unleashing punishing blows upon the other's body and face.
Rodriguez. But that doesn't mean when he does, those punches aren't going to hurt him.
Cross on top of the kick. And now frantic flurry here.
Yeah.
As the fight reached its climactic fifth and final round, both Rodriguez and Jung displayed signs of exhaustion, their bodies bruised and battered from the grueling encounter. During this pivotal moment, Rodriguez landed a devastating elbow strike, sending Jung crashing to the mat. Rodriguez raised his arms triumphantly as the referee began the count, emerging victorious in an epic battle that would be etched in fans' memories for years.
Oh my God! What an elbow from Yair! Dismissed anything Yair just did, because that is unbelievable!
In recognition of his extraordinary performance, Rodriguez received a substantial purse of $100,000 and was honored with the Performance of the Night and Fight of the Night awards for this remarkable bout. Furthermore, his knockout of Jung was celebrated as the year's knockout for 2018, solidifying Rodriguez's status as an exceptional talent in the UFC. Yair Rodriguez versus Jeremy Stephens. Following his thrilling encounter with the Korean Zombie, Yair Rodriguez faced a disappointing outcome in his next bout. The highly anticipated main event fight between Rodriguez and Jeremy Stephens on September 2019 was ultimately declared a no contest due to an accidental eye poke by Rodriguez in the first round.
Has been ruled no contest at 15 seconds of round number 1.
So officially a no contest. Michael Bisping close by to Yair Rodriguez.
The rematch between these two determined fighters occurred on October 18, 2019 in Boston, Massachusetts, USA. From the outset, Rodriguez attempted to execute takedowns on Stephens, but Stephens showcased his defensive skills, effectively countering Rodriguez's efforts by wrestling against the fence. Stephens struggled to close the distance on Rodriguez without exposing himself to strikes. Rodriguez showcased his striking prowess by landing impactful kicks and punches on Stephens, even taking him down to the canvas during the fight. As the battle progressed into the second round, Rodriguez maintained his assault, relentlessly delivering a barrage of kicks and punches that left Stephens visibly impaired in his stable standing position.
Crippling body shot. Stephens in trouble.
Jeremy's still in. He's defending right now, but he's hurt bad.
He's moving. He's moving. They're going to stop this. City kick. Every time he went southpaw, he kicked the body.
Kevin McDonald giving Stephens gaining some separation and getting this back to the feet. Maybe see the extent to which Jeremy has recovered.
Yeah, absolutely. Back up if you're Rodriguez. It won't take many more of those body shots to finish this fight.
Stephens now with a knee.
In the third round, Stephens secured 2 takedowns against Rodriguez, but Rodriguez's ground game proved resilient, effectively neutralizing Stephens' offense.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. For the winner, by unanimous decision, Yair Rodriguez!
Yair Rodriguez encountered a setback in 2020 when he faced a 6-month suspension from USADA for neglecting to update his location for random testing. This lack of professionalism resulted in 3 strikes against him, ultimately suspending him. However, in March 2021, he returned to the octagon and booked his next bout. His comeback fight pitted him against former champion and top-ranked contender Max Holloway at UFC Fight Night 197 in Las Vegas on November 13, 2021. The winner of this match would earn a shot at the featherweight title against Alex Volkanovski. At the time, Rodriguez held the 3rd rank in the featherweight division. Right from the start of the fight, both fighters exchanged clean strikes. Rodriguez utilized combinations and leg kicks to connect with Holloway, who responded with his punches. The exchange of blows continued, with Rodriguez attempting to counter Holloway's advances while Holloway pressed forward. Rodriguez incorporated more kicks into his strategy, seeking to alter the dynamics of the fight, but Holloway retaliated with punches, even absorbing an elbow strike. In the 3rd round, Holloway delivered a flying knee to Rodriguez's body and attempted to secure a submission. In the 4th round, Rodriguez's face displayed signs of bruising and cuts. Although Holloway made another submission attempt, Rodriguez regained a standing position. The final round saw both fighters give their all, engaging in a fierce battle. Ultimately, Holloway emerged as the victor. The judges scored the fight 46-49, 47-48, 47-48 in favor of Holloway, granting him the win. So, while Volkanovski has won 3 times against Max Holloway, Rodriguez has lost his only fight against him. Food for thought. Yair Rodriguez's next opportunity came in the form of a title shot for the interim featherweight championship against Josh Emmett. This marked Yair's first UFC title fight, while Josh had been on a winning streak with victories in his last 5 fights. The matchup showcased a clash between a kicker and a boxer. The co-main event occurred on February 11, 2023 at UFC 284 in Perth, Australia. Right from the start, Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett engaged in an intense exchange of kicks and punches.
Fast. Oh, there's a bite. So much tape on Yair. And when he's another.
Emmett, my man Dominic Cruz would say. Oh, throw it.
Rodriguez delivered a powerful strike to Emmett's body, and the two fighters unleashed a flurry of rapid punches. Emmett managed to land a strong punch that knocked Rodriguez down, but Yair quickly recovered and fought back with precise and sharp elbows from his back position. Undeterred by the knockdown, Rodriguez showcased his resilience and continued to mount a fierce offense. As the second round began, Rodriguez targeted the same spot on Emmett's body with kicks, causing further damage. The two fighters exchanged punches and kicks, with Emmett attempting to take Rodriguez down. However, Yair's relentless strikes proved effective, including elbows and punches from his back. Eventually, Rodriguez successfully transitioned into a triangle submission that left Emmett trapped and unable to escape. The fight ended with Rodriguez securing a submission victory, marking his first submission win in the UFC. His impressive performance earned him a $50,000 bonus and the prestigious Performance of the Night award. Moreover, by emerging victorious, Yair Rodriguez realized his long-held dream of becoming the UFC featherweight champion at UFC 284. So, who will win? It's widely acknowledged that Alexander Volkanovski has cemented himself as the greatest featherweight in UFC history thus far. Although he recently suffered a loss in his pursuit to become a champ against lightweight champion Islam Makhachev, Volkanovski gained immense respect and a stronger fan following. He proved that Makhachev was not the unbeatable Khabib 2.0 many believed him to be, and as mentioned, many believe he actually won that fight and should be champ. Before John Jones's return, Volkanovski held the top spot in the pound-for-pound rankings, showcasing his unmatched speed and meticulous attention to detail in the division. He's consistently ground out victories, displaying his resilience and determination. But can Yair Rodriguez dethrone Volkanovski? Rodriguez's recent fights have been a mix of highs and lows. His performance in the interim title fight against Josh Emmett was impressive, culminating in a triangle choke submission and the belt around his waist. However, his bout against Ortega was cut short due to Ortega's shoulder injury, limiting Rodriguez's chance to showcase his skills. Before that, he endured a decision loss against Holloway, enduring a barrage of strikes for 5 rounds. Nevertheless, Rodriguez cannot be underestimated. Rodriguez is a formidable stand-up fighter who can also exhibit creativity, as demonstrated by a stunning spinning elbow knockout against the Korean Zombie. Additionally, he's proven his ability to secure quick submissions, as seen in his victory over Emmett. While the challenge to dethrone Volkanovski is significant, Rodriguez's skill set and past successes make him a formidable opponent who should not be discounted. The clash between these two fighters promises an exciting and unpredictable showdown in the octagon. Whatever happens, it'll be a sight to watch. If you enjoyed it, do leave a like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you amazing content.